What is up, guitar legend? Sam Wild here. We're looking at Hedwig's theme today, which is that main Harry Potter theme, the iconic one that we all know. If you do want to learn the other three tunes, there's Double Trouble, Mischief Managed, and Harry's Wondrous World. Those are in separate videos, links are below. You can also learn those if you want to. So for Hedwig's theme, we're going to be playing in 6/8 time. So you can see we've got the 6/8 there. All that means is there are 6 beats in the bar. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's useful to recognize that before you even start playing this. Now you can see that we have a little lead-in note there. So it just comes in, dun dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dun, dun, dun. So this lead-in note is actually before beat 1. Okay, so we play the B string with our first finger to do that lead-in note. That's where there's a 0 on the B string. And then we're going to play the low E and the top E at the same time. Okay, then we have 3 and 2 back to open. So I use fingers 2 and 1 there. When you're practicing this, by the way, make sure you're playing it quite slowly, like this. You might even want to go even slower, alright? Don't try and play full speed until it feels really comfortable and you've kind of memorized the whole thing. So again, we have this so far. Now, as soon as you do that, move up to the 3rd finger on the 7th fret. So watch how I move up, watch. As soon as I've done the open strings, they're ringing, right? So you can move position. Now be careful here because we do the 7th fret and then we hit the E string as well as the fret 5 here. So just work on that, just so you kind of get the coordination going here. So just one finger, both fingers. Then we slide down to the 2nd fret. Okay, we still got the 1st finger here. And again, we're using both strings. Alright, so far we have. Now the first bit repeats again. Dun, dun, dun. But this time, we're going to do 4th fret on the B string. Now personally, I like to use my 4th finger to get this note. Okay, you'll also notice there's a 3 in brackets. Now the reason it's in brackets is because technically you can't actually hear this note. They don't play this note in the theme. Alright, but it kind of, I feel like it actually makes it sound better if it's just you on a guitar. It does tend to work nicely. So you can use the 2nd finger to play number 3 there on the A string. If you want, you don't have to play it. So let me show you what it sounds like without. It still works, but with, you get that nice dun, dun, dun. It gets more bass movement if you add it in. Now from here, the 3 and the 4, we're going to have to slide down for a 2 and a 1 there. Okay. Now the 1 is on the E string, 1st finger, 2 is on A string, 2nd finger. So we've gone. So just work on that movement. If it's too hard, don't bother with this number 3, you can just do it like this. Just as hard in my opinion. Then, 4th bar, we do the E string, low E string, and the B string at the same time. So, like that. Boom, 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 boom. Then we have the G and the B string, just to fill the space. To be honest, that's all it's there for. So I use finger 1 and 2 there. Like that. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Done. Now be careful here because we're going to play the A string, 2nd fret, and the B string as a lead-in note. So this whole of this top line so far we have now the second line starts the same. That first bar is the same, right? But this time we need finger 1 on the 7th fret because we're gonna have to go even higher. Okay, so remember to get in position again, just so you're saving time here. Now this is quite a hard little jump here. So I use my thumb to get the bass notes here. Some of you might prefer to do something like this. But personally I just find that really awkward and difficult. Whereas if it's just the thumb, you can actually bring the wrist right up to really get this. And then you move it back down for this last shape. So for the first shape, you use the thumb and 3rd finger, both on the 10th fret here, on low E and the high E, right? And then we have this chromatic join up. So you can use your 2nd finger for that one. And then I slide that down. So now we have thumb and 2nd finger. So like this. You almost have to bounce the fingers off and on. So you're really squeezing them in. Dun, dun. So from there you bounce them off and on. Then you have to reach the pinky up or the 3rd finger, whichever is easier for you. B string 10th fret, just as a little middle note there. So we have. Now be careful and make sure that you switch to your 3rd finger, so you have 2 spare. And as you're doing this, dun, 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 you can kind of be already thinking about the next part, because it's quite a fast change, so you have to be thinking about the next bit as you're doing it. Keep that last note short if you need to, so you got more time. So you notice I've got finger 3, finger 2, finger 1. The thumb stays pushed in. Okay, so we have dun, 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 dun. Now here we got 2nd finger on fret 4 on the A string and open B. Make sure you use that finger because then you can add this note with the 1st finger on 3rd fret of the E string. Now we're at the last bar, which is kind of like the top line there, but this time we've got the E string instead of the B string, so just watch out for that. You see that on the top line we got E and B, on the 2nd line we have E and E. Alright, so this 2nd line sounds like this. Alright, then this last part is going to take us into the 2nd half. For those of you that want to take your playing to the next level, make sure you sign up to my premium membership website. You'll gain access to all my backing tracks, all of my lessons, and I'll teach you how to improvise, solo, and play advanced chords. Enjoy the rest of your lesson, guys. So again, to go into line 3, we have this final quick note there. So we're going to have the thumb, E string fret 7, middle finger is B string fret 8, alright? And that takes us into line 3. Line 3 we got low E and 1st finger on fret 7, the E string. Now on this line you'll notice there's lots of B and E string, so you can use 1st and 2nd and just kind of keep them there. So 1st finger's on B string, 2nd finger's on E string underneath. You can just leave them there for most of this 2nd line, makes it a little bit easier. So just work on this 1st bar. Dun, 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 dun. So you notice we're going. Now we have to roll the middle finger down to the E string. So I go from this curled shape to a flat shape, just so it's smooth. See that? Instead of going. You can just move it off and on if you want, but the roll makes it sound smoother. So we have. Now we're on the second bar. Now once again we have this note that we had. It's the same note as the first line. It's in brackets because again it's not in the song. I just put it in. You don't have to play it. It's also a bit of a stretch. So some of you might not want to do that. If you look at that, it's a very strange shape because we got the thumb here and the first finger is behind. So you don't have to add in the thumb, but make sure you get the top note, of course. So without, still sounds fine. With, it does sound better in my opinion. Because you get more bass movement. So again, second bar we have. So that movement there, that's difficult. Just do it slowly and repeat it so it becomes subconscious. Dun, 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 dun. So both are going in, you see that, and you're also moving up to the B string with the first finger. For the third bar we have, now for this bit, we have a very odd shape here. So this, in my opinion, is probably the trickiest set of bars here, these two middle ones on the third line. The rest isn't too tricky. So just work on this very slowly. Now make sure you don't leave the third finger in. So I've got finger 2 and 3 on fret 8, E and D string here. But as soon as you play the B string after the 8, make sure you release the third finger. So second finger stays in, the third finger just releases. Otherwise you get this clashiness. But if you take it off, then it doesn't clash. Okay, it's because it's a semitone. It sounds like this. If you play it at the same time, it's a bit too clashy in my opinion. So you leave the bass in, but the third finger releases. Alright, then the first finger comes back to the 7th fret to get this 4th bar. Whew, so just to clarify this third bar, and again we have that G and B string happens on every 4th bar. Okay, then we have this lead in again. So this is the same bar on the 4th line, we have the same thing as the 3rd line. But we're sliding up. Okay, so this is similar to that 2nd line. That bit's the same, right? Now the weirdest thing happens here, alright, in this 3rd bar. Okay, instead of playing the 8th fret here, the second time around it starts on the 7th fret. I don't know if it's just for extra tension, but that is what if you listen really carefully to the theme music, it does do that. So you can see it's exactly the same as that 2nd line, but instead of the 8th fret, we're on the 7th fret. But this bit is the same. Alright guys, that is Hedwig's theme all covered now. So if you want to play along to the whole thing, there's a play along at the end of the video. Alright, now I've done a slowed down version so you can practice it to the slower version, then eventually you try and play the full speed version. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.